then Wingspan, and there goes Harvard. Luxembourg is riding the rail, 4 lengths from the front. Gold Phoenix is next. And then to the inside, it's Shariar. They're followed by Grand Sonata. JRB is after that after a 48.77 half. Then El Encinal. Emily Upjohn is second last. Rousham Park is the trailer. Cabo Spirit on top. Moving into the clubhouse turn. Breeders' Cup winner. Rebels Romance is a length and a half behind. Farbridge continues to be right in behind them while covered up at the rail. There goes Harvard is next and moving on the outside. Then Wingspan, Luxembourg, Gold Phoenix, and Shariar tour the rail. Break of another 2 to JRB inside of Grand Sonata, then El Encinal. Emily Upjohn is second last ahead of Rousham Park. 3/4 up in 1:13.82 seconds. Cabo Spirit is the leader up the backstretch. Rebels Romance 3/4 of a length behind. Then Farbridge third to the inside. There goes Harvard is fourth. Right in behind them, Wingspan, Gold Phoenix, Luxembourg now coming under a ride while riding the rail around the far turn. Rebels Romance moving now. Rebels Romance takes the lead from Cabo Spirit as they make their way to the top of the stretch. There goes Harvard is next. Farbridge trapped in behind horses, no place to go. Then Gold Phoenix and Wingspan, and on the far outside, Rousham Park from behind, but Rebels Romance has built a big lead here. Rousham Park is cutting into it. Rebels Romance by 2. Rousham Park coming. Rebels Romance, Rousham Park. Rebels Romance, a Breeders' Cup winner again. Rousham Park was second. Shariar was third. Then a photo between Wingspan and Gold Phoenix.
If ever a horse really embodied what the Breeders' Cup is about, the globe-trotting Rebels Romance, an early move on the turn, and he holds on with William Buick.
What a brilliant and honest horse he is. William Buick took the decision, and not for the first time, riding Rebels Romance where there's no pace, to go early. I think the horse probably wanted to do a little bit too much, but he was able to let him drop his head, and he settled on the lead. But turning for the straight, this initial response is so generous. He was running out of puff late on. The line came just in time. What a run from Rousham Park.
Yeah, but considering the early move that he made and that he was a little keen going into the first turn, and then having to make this first move into the pace where you can see where the pace setter finishes last, this was a massive effort for this horse.
Rousham Park coming flying for Japan. He ends up second today, followed by the 3 Shariar, another of the Japanese runners to round out your trifecta. We'll take a look overhead from the drone. So at this point, your eventual winner is second up on the lead there just to the outside, but your second place finisher, Rousham Park and Christophe Lemaire, with a line of horses in front of him to go past.
And just as inside, his compatriot Shariar, who once again hasn't had the best of luck in the Breeders' Cup turf, and he's had to wait and switch out around Rousham Park, and other horses coming back on him. Rousham Park has run a mighty race and will probably have won with another stride.
Absolutely. Look at the ground that this horse is making up, and there's no other horse in here that's making up this type of ground. And on top of that, he was quite wide coming around that final bend, so losing that ground and still managing to almost catch Rebels Romance on the line, certainly an amazing runner-up performance at 22-1. Tough luck for Emily Upjohn. I was kind of eyeing her throughout. She had one of the worst trips I've ever seen.
Brutal.
Oh my goodness.
She missed the kick. That was her doing. Franco Dettori wasn't able to do anything other than take a position at the back of the field. But when he tried to make some ground coming to the far turn, there was never any room for him.
It was a 1.5-mile journey, but I feel like for William Buick, there were so many individual moves that went on during this race. And part of it, to Gabby's point, was Rebels Romance being a little keen. But he also knows you're over a tight course like Del Mar, so I'm not going to fight him too much in the early stages and strangle him back, giving him too much to do late.
Well, you guys saw him up close. You've done that before. He's a big, long striding horse. You can't leave him with too much sprinting to do. It's better to get him out in the clear, let him roll, let him use that long stride. Like I say, in Hong Kong, I think there was a little bit of a messy early pace, and he took a prominent position. And similar to this win, he held on, having gone to the front quite soon, but he had a little bit more in hand that day than he did here before the line.
I can't say it enough. I mean, I picked against him today. I picked JRB, but as soon as he walked by us, I regretted it. I looked at him, and you just knew this horse had his game face on today, and he was on the engine from the get-go. William Buick, a world-class rider, and again, with a son of Dubawi. I mean, just this sire line, they are tough as nails, such competitors. They give you their all every time, all heart, the Dubawis.
And a lot of the Dubawis get better as they get older. We were talking about English Channel earlier. It's a similar sort of pedigree, similar sort of progress. They get better as they get older. Rebels Romance, I go back to the start of 2022. When he was in Dubai, he ran twice on the dirt. Charlie Appleby had, thought of him as being a potential dirt horse for the future. But things didn't pan out, and then he went to Europe, went on the turf, just got better and better with every start. He started on the all-weather, then the turf, and ended up winning the Breeders' Cup in 2022. And here he is, after a disappointing 2023, back in the winner's enclosure at Del Mar.
I noticed when you interviewed Charlie Appleby earlier this week, a little twinkle in his eye. I mean, this horse has to have a sentimental spot for everyone at Godolphin.
Obviously, all trainers will have affection for all their horses, but this one, when I asked Charlie which horse would he want to win the most, this is the horse that he said.
From Qatar to Dubai to Hong Kong to Ascot to Germany to the United States, Rebels Romance in the winner's circle on a global stage once more.
And now entering the winner's circle, the official winner of today's Longines Breeders' Cup Turf, number 11, Rebels Romance. A 6-year-old dark bay or brown gelding by Dubawi from Mini Dress by Street Cry, bred in Ireland by Godolphin, and owned by Godolphin LLC. The winning trainer is Charlie Appleby. Winning jockey, William Buick.
It's another Longines Breeders' Cup turf, and it's another one for Godolphin, for Charlie Appleby, for Rebels Romance. This time, William Buick aboard Rebels Romance. Delighted to welcome back to the winner's circle Brittany Garcia, the brand president for the United States and the Caribbean, for long-time sponsors and supporters, not just of this event, but of horse racing, Longines. Hugh Anderson, managing director of Godolphin, here to pick up the award. Brittany.
Amazing race. Congratulations. Really so fun to watch. Congrats.
Rebels Romance, Charlie Appleby. Nearly had a tear in his eye there, Hugh, and I'd imagine that would apply to many people back at base.
Absolutely. We've got huge faith in him. He's one of the Godolphin greats, actually, now. Won on numerous continents, ultra reliable, and yes, it was a little close to the end, but it was a fabulous result. Huge congratulations to Charlie, the whole team, and the boss.
And, of course, to rider William Buick, and he owed one to Will, too, this horse.
Yes, Will rode brilliantly. Well done. Thanks.
Hugh, thank you. Thank you, Rebels Romance. Back to you, Ahmed.
As the official partner, timekeeper of the Breeders' Cup World Championships, Longines is proud to time the iconic Longines Classic race. The Swiss watchmaker is looking forward to highlighting the official watch of the event, a new model from the Conquest collection that celebrates its 70th anniversary this year. This automatic watch combines sporty elegance with robustness for everyday use. Available in a range of sizes, colors, and materials, this timepiece effortlessly adapts to any occasion. FanDuel is proud to be the official wagering partner of the Breeders' Cup and the sponsor of the FanDuel Breeders' Cup Mile, presented by the PDJF. Watch racing year-round on FanDuel TV and wager on all the races with FanDuel Racing. Make every moment more with FanDuel.
I can live a day without you, baby. This sick addiction makes me crazy. And I'm ready to.
Elegance is an attitude.
At Calumet Farm, we're proud to offer proven stallions to fit every breeder's needs. With over 72 million in progeny winnings on dirt and turf, our diverse roster is producing the champions of today and tomorrow. Calumet Farm, a legacy reborn.
This is a cowboy. Recognized around the world as a romantic symbol of the American West. But in Texas, this is a cowboy.
My name is Douglas. I'm a writer, director, and I'm still working. In the kind of work that I do, you are surrounded by people who are all younger than you. I had to get help somewhere along the line to stay competitive. I discovered Prevagen. I started taking it, and after a period of time, my memory improved. It was a game changer for me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
Gunrunner won the first running of the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar, helping punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame. 4 years later, Nick Sko came here and blazed the trail to the winner's circle. He grabbed the lead out of the gate and never looked back. And it was 20 years ago that another Hall of Famer, Ghost Zapper, ran the fastest classic for legendary trainer Bobby Frankel. This is the $7 million Longines Breeders' Cup Classic.
The centerpiece of Championship Saturday. It is the Breeders' Cup Classic. Coming up next with $7 million on the line, 20 minutes until post time. We welcome Simon Bray back on to the Players Show set here. And Simon, one of the most internationally dynamic Breeders' Cup Classics we've ever seen.
No question about it. I mean, the international group haven't had much success in the Classic. You have to look to Ah Kong as the only winner at $133. But I think if there's ever a year that a foreign runner can win this race, this could be it. Japanese representation. And according to many people in Europe, the best that Europe has ever bought for the Classic. Considering they've placed with Declaration of War and Giants Causeway, that's some big words.
Yeah, exactly. Aidan O'Brien has never won the Breeders' Cup Classic, but did come very close with Giants Causeway. It sent out Mendelssohn in this race as well, but this could be one of their best chances in City of Troy. And Christina, I feel like there's a polarization of opinions when it comes to City of Troy. People either think he can definitely do it off of his class, and some people think that he definitely cannot do it. Take his turf form here on the dirt.
There's a saying in Europe and Australia, are you familiar with Marmite? It's a spread that goes, yeah. So City of Troy is Marmite. You either love him or you hate him. I don't like Marmite.
I'm not either. City of Troy, 4-1 on the board right now, and he was your morning line favorite at 5-2. We'll monitor the way that the wagering fluctuates with 19 minutes until post time. Let's go to Scott Hazelton.
The time is now for City of Troy, the son of Justify for the Coolmore Connections and Aidan O'Brien. And coming into this race, Aidan, preparing him for this dirt opportunity, what has been your approach from your past experiences bringing horses over for the Classic?
Yeah, so we did as much as we think we can do. Obviously, it's a different continent, different style of race, and different surface. Everything is different stalls, different pace of race, and whatever. Listen, we think he's a very good horse. We think he's the best horse we've had, and we just hope that he will be able to adapt. Obviously, I think to beat the American horses at their game, he will have to be a lot better. So whether that is or not, I don't know. Whether he'll adapt in time, I don't know. Whether he'll break, we don't know. Ryan will decide when the gates open whether he's going to be very handy, second, third, fourth or fifth. He'll have to play it by ear, and then we'll have to find out will he handle the kickback or not. And all those things we couldn't really do. Because I think they either handle kickback or they don't. He will do his best to be out of it, I'd imagine. We think, obviously gets the trip very well, and he's a big high cruiser. But, obviously there's a lot of unknowns, and it will be exciting and interesting.
How much have you and the lads at Coolmore coveted a win in the Breeders' Cup Classic?
Actually, we've been trying to win it for 25 years, so that'll tell you. We've always tried to run our best horses in it, but we've never won it. Obviously, Ryan has a great rider and great experience, and listen, really for the lads, I think it's very sporting. Obviously, he could have went a lot of other places, a lot of options, but they have been always doing that recently, is expose the horses and see how far can you push them. So he's very well, and obviously by Justified makes it exciting that there's definitely an option that he could handle both. And I think he will, but whether he knows enough in time to do it or not, whether he can cope with the quick change, so hopefully.
Good luck, Aidan.
Pleasure. Thanks very much.
Okay. Delighted to have Chad Brown alongside me, looking for his first Breeders' Cup Classic success. Chad, you've got Sierra Leone. Now, what do you believe he's going to be showing today? Do you feel that he's able to show his absolute best? And if he does, is that good enough to win the Classic?
Yeah, well, he's training like he is, and I believe that would be good enough. But he needs a good pace in front of him, and this horse has been a little bit unlucky. Sometimes he creates his own bad luck in his races, but he's a very consistent horse. He's training now as good now as he has all year, and I'm really relying on his consistency and his raw ability if it sets up for him pace-wise.
Talking about the pace, obviously he's been behind in a few of the races and he closes late. We've talked about the configuration of this track quite a lot. How far behind would you be comfortable coming to the home straight?
It all depends on the pace. If the pace is very, very solid, I wouldn't want to see him, more than 10 lengths behind. And so we have a great jockey on the horse, Flavien. He's gotten to know the horse in his last 3 starts, and hopefully the pace percolates. And I do like the outside post for him. I'd like him to pick his own spot in the first turn rather than be shuffled or closed off in that first turn. So it's a very, very good race. Deep international field. It's an exciting race, but I do believe we have a chance.
Thanks so much for your time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
lot of information from the paddock. Let's stick with the conversation about Sierra Leone. Gabby, he's a horse that does need some pace to run at, but it seemingly looks like he will get that on paper with this classic.
Certainly. There's a lot of pace in this race. I think maybe led by a horse like Arthur's Ride. I think Newgate also has a lot of speed in here. Sierra Leone needs that pace, and he gets it today. And I think one thing about him, if you have liked him throughout his 3-year-old season, you've had to deal with shorter prices with him. Today, you're getting 6-1, maybe even higher than that. And I think he's probably more mentally mature today than he has been all season. He certainly seems like he's headed in the right direction, and he seems to be much straighter even in his training in the morning.
I mean, you could argue that he's the most consistent 3-year-old of the crop, right? I mean, from race to race basis, I mean, he hasn't thrown in a real clunker. I mean, his races are always there or thereabouts.
First, second, or third in all of his 8 career starts. Flavien Prat aboard Sierra Leone today, and you are getting 6-1 in the wagering right now. The paddock is full. Let's head in to Andy Biancone for Paddock Picks.
Christina, a sensational group of horses in front of us, to say the very least, starting with the number 1, Forever Young. This horse is a deserving favorite. 7 lifetime starts, has never been off the board, including a second-place effort in this year's Kentucky Derby. But physically, he's a fantastic horse. I love that his connections gave him the summer off, and he comes in with a strong run under his belt. He looks fit, he looks ready, and what I love is just how much he's grown and matured. He's just a completely different animal right now in the fall than he was in the spring. Others to consider, the number 9, Fierceness. I have never been a Fierceness fan. Early on when he was on the Derby Trail in Florida, I just kind of thought he wasn't in his best form, but looking at him here today, wow, my jaw was on the floor. This horse is really coming into this group of horses in top condition. Form stands up, beating Torpedo Anna in the Travers, coming into this spot, and he certainly looks fit off the layoff. He also could get things his way from that outside post today. 4-1 on him. It's fantastic value, but I'm going to give you guys a long shot as well. The number 6, Derma Sotagaki. Oh my goodness, this horse was fantastic. Blinkers go on for him today. He walked into the paddock very focused. He's kind of a horse who can throw some antics sometimes, but very mature and professional today. A second in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year at Santa Anita, and he's a horse, another horse who has developed remarkably from 3 to 4, guys.
Andy, thank you. You're getting 45-1 on Derma Sotagake right now, putting the blinkers on. He was second in this race last year. We have quite a few Japanese runners in the race. Gabby Ushpa Tesoro, the 7, Derma Sotagake, the 6, Forever Young, the 1. Of those 3, are you in agreement with the betting public that Forever Young is their best chance?
100%. There's no doubt about it. But I do want to mention a point with the 6, Derma Sotagake, because I think people might think that he was coming in to last year's Classic maybe in a little bit better form when you look at kind of the races prior to, but he has had some serious excuses. He had shipping issues going to Saudi. Then in the Dubai World Cup, he was resaddled before the race. Nothing went right for him 2 starts back. Now the blinkers going on, trying to correct some of this behavior that we've seen kind of go off the rails in the afternoon. But on his best day, he can certainly be a factor at a huge price.
Keeping a close eye on him there. He's minding his manners. The 6 is Derma Sotagake at that very big price. 12 minutes until the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. Back to Andy.
Yoshito Yahagi sends out the number 1, Forever Young. I haven't seen this horse myself since the Kentucky Derby, but he looks fantastic. How do you feel like he's developed coming into this spot?
私自身ケンタッキーダービーの後から見てなかったんですけど、今日見た感じすごいいい状態だというふうに感じたんですけど、いかがでしょうか。
ケンタッキーダービーの時よりもずっといい状態だと思います。
I feel he's really much improved condition, better than compared to Kentucky Derby.
The last time you were here, you won the distaff with Marsh Lorraine. Do you feel nostalgic to be back?
前ディスタフマルシュローレーン勝ってますけど、あれぐらいの自信があるのか。
あれまあディスタフもフィーアンドメアターフも勝ってるんで負けたことがないんで。
Yes, you know, I won distaff also Philly and Mayor, so I never lost at the Delma, so yeah.
It's looking good so far. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Yoshito Yahagi, the master of Del Mar from Japan, winning 2 Breeders' Cup races here back in 2021. Here's a look at the Kentucky Derby for Forever Young. He was third, only beaten ahead. Sierra Leone leaning on him. You can see all that pushing back and forth between the two of them. Wide out on the track as they chase Mystic Dan down to the wire. Simon, there's a lot of people that believe he was the best horse that day.
I mean, if you're just looking at the trip, yeah, he came from far back. He was bumped 2 or 3 times down the stretch. You know, that's a whole nother discussion that people wanted to talk about. But the fact that he ran that well after undergoing those sorts of trouble, that trouble and the slow break, most horses in the Derby in that situation wouldn't perform. He performed, and he came back with a great prep race.
And that's the only blemish on his resume. He's 6 for 7 lifetime. The only defeat was by a head in the Kentucky Derby after shipping in from Japan to Saudi to Maidan to Louisville, Kentucky. 10 minutes until the Classic. To our LA studios with Dave Weaver.
Thank you, Christina. And hopefully you've been taking advantage through your FanDuel Racing account of the WinBet insurance that we've had all day long. But this race is even better than that. We've got a $20 no-sweat WinBet. If you opt in on your FanDuel Racing account, you bet $20 to win on a horse. You'll get your money back, not if you finish second or third, but if you don't win at all. I am going to go to Forever Young. I'm not in love with the 3-to-1 price right now. I got a chance to see him win the UAE Derby in Dubai, and boy, was he ever impressive. And this is a horse from the rail that can show speed. He's not going to have to. He's shown that he can close from well off the pace. He did that in the Saudi Derby as well. So Forever Young is going to be my win bet. I was considering a bit of a price in here as we go down to the 12-horse Arthur's Ride, but he's one that I think has to have the lead, and I'm not certain from that post that he's going to be able to do it. So let's go back to Forever Young, and that is going to be a $20 no-sweat win bet. Let's check in with Scott Hazelton.
There's no horse in the Breeders' Cup Classic that's had more of a dominating season than next, the number 14 runner for trainer Doug Cowens. But what have you done to prepare him for this step back in trip and the step up in competition?
Well, we haven't done much with the horse training-wise to make the step back. We're going to try to keep everything just as we always have, try to get the horse in his rhythm, and once he's in his rhythm, you know, we might have to pick it up just a little bit earlier than we do, but hopefully he's good enough to do it.
How exciting is this opportunity for you and the Connections, and most importantly next?
Well, this is a big excitement for the whole team, not just myself. These guys work hard every day, and they've taken great care of the horse, and he's ready to go.
Have you seen the same next since we last saw him in his races as far as the way that he's trained coming into this race?
Well, running in this race was a big decision for us. It got tossed back and forth a lot. The main reason we came is after he exited the Greenwood Cup, he couldn't be doing any better. So as he progressed forward in his training, we made a decision to come to the Classic.
Good luck, Doug.
Thank you.
Good luck to them with next. He's been so fun to watch this year. He's a perfect 4 for 4. 2023 was good to him as well. 3 for 4 back last year. In his last 7 victories, he has won by a combined 91 3/4 of a length. The 7-race win streak for next. He's the 14 horse up on the board right now. Simon at 11-1.
Yeah, I mean, look, he looked for every reason not to come here, and they just had to show up. I think the difference when you go from, to me in dirt racing in North America, the minute you go 1 inch over 1.25 miles, you get into that 1.5 mile territory, it just drops off. There's just, I mean, nobody wants to run a serious racehorse further than 1.25 miles on the dirt in the United States.
But the competition obviously it pales in comparison to what he's facing here today. But make no mistake, what he's been able to do in this season has been incredibly impressive. And I think it's really cool to see a horse like this take on foes in the Classic. I wish him all the best.
Next, he's flashy. Can't miss him. The son of Not This Time. There he is, just going behind our set right now. We mentioned with the placement of the Classic in the middle of the day, you do have the opportunity to begin a pick 5 right here. All Breeders' Cup pick 5, starting with the Classic. Simon, tell us how you're playing it.
So what I did, some of my other wagers, I ended with Forever Young. Here I'm kind of hedging. Now start a new one. I'm going to get some coverage in here. I'm going to use Forever Young. I'm not using City of Troy. I'm just going to throw out the favorite at a, well, now the second choice at a short price. I like the 9, 11, 12, 13 to the outside. I'll use the 9, Fierceness, obviously. Sierra Leone, Arthur's Ride, Newgate. Newgate to me is the horse that could steal it on the front end. 4 deep there. In race number 10, we're going to go ahead and single. Sorry, Christina, close your ears. Straight no chaser. Put all the pressure on you there. I liked him a lot.
I like the confidence.
Yes. I mean, going back to the Maryland Sprint last year. So that's what we're going to do.
Post parade begins with our current favorite 3-1 on Forever Young. Gabby.
Forever Young did run in the Kentucky Derby last time he was in the States and nearly won the race. It's his only blemish in his 7-race career. He is the current favorite at 3-1.
Highland Falls for Brad Cox, 4-length winner of the Jockey Club Gold Cup at the 1.25 distance on the main track. It gets a little tougher here today, though.
City of Troy is next. He's the 4-1 second choice, and he has done everything right in Europe. One of the best horses that we have seen run this season worldwide. Aidan O'Brien is looking for a win, his first win in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and he might be able to get it done with this year's runner in City of Troy.
Mixto, course and distance winner. Not many can say that. 1.25 winning the Pacific Classic last time out.
Senor Buscador, he's 50-1 in this event, but he has his fair share of accomplishments. He won the Saudi Cup earlier this season back in February, and he's hoping to get back on track today in a big way in the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Derma Satagake is the 640-1. The longest shot of the 3 Japanese runners in here. He's got form to go back to, but it's been a while since he's been performing at this level.
Ushpa Tesoro, 22-1. He did run in the Breeders' Cup Classic at Santa Anita last year. He ran 5th out of 12 that season, and he does have a Group 1 victory late last year after that effort.
Pyrenees has been good. He put together a 4-race win streak and then jumped into Grey One Company. Couple of second-place finishes. He is sitting up on the board at 60-1.
Fierceness won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. He was the 2-year-old champion, and he came back in a big way this season, winning the Jim Dandy and the Travers. He's got a lot of speed, and he's reunited with jockey Johnny Velasquez.
Here's Tapit Trice, 3rd in the Belmont last year. He comes off a win in the Woodward over Skippy Longstockings. He's got form with Highland Falls and Pyrenees. Again, another price.
Sierra Leone has never finished out of the money in his 8-race career. He comes into the race with a 3rd-place finish in the Grade 1 Travers and a near miss in the Kentucky Derby earlier this season.
Here's Arthur's Ride. I mean, he's won at the 1.25 distance against much softer competition. Again, he's another horse that's lightly raced. If he gets loose on the lead, he could be a threat.
Newgate. Interested to see what this horse does today. I know Arthur's Ride has a lot of speed, but so too does Newgate, and he gets the addition of blinkers on today for Hall of Famer Bob Baffert.
And then the 14 next to the outside here at 10-1. We just touched on his story. This will be one of the best stories of the weekend should he get the victory in this race.
He's an easy horse to root for. They all are, those in this Longines Breeders' Cup Classic. 3 minutes until post time. I want to circle back to the 13. Newgate is going to be my top selection in here for Bob Baffert and Frankie Dettori. They team up with this horse, and they are 31% all time together over the main track. Also some interesting information from Pramana Labs, which I'll share with you in just a second. He earned his career best Equibase speed figure last time out, holds the field's fastest late pace figure. He's going to put himself into the race because he's so tactical. We saw his last effort in the California Crown. He was 3rd by just a head that day, and I think that race and his training since then has really signaled that he's sitting on his best performance. And this is that info from Pramana Labs. And we know how seriously Bob Baffert trains his horses for fitness. Of 41 final 5-furlong works over Santa Anita with horses that he is training for a 1.25 mile stakes race, that 58-4 that you see from him on October 27th is the fastest since 2011. The only other horses that